While the beaches may be a bit less crowded this weekend, with everybody crowding into auto dealerships for the last days of the Cash for Clunkers program. After only 1 month of operation, the president is suspending the program. More than 450,000 vehicles have been sold under the rebate deal so far, generating $2 billion in claims. The president said for dealers unhappy about delays in getting their reimbursements from the government, the cash is coming. The Transportation Department has tripled the number of people processing the dealer applications. Apparently, this lack of processing horsepower has been getting a lot of the blame for these delays. Charles Torito is Senior Communications Director at the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers. He was on the call with DOT Secretary Ray LaHood for this announcement. Charles, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So the president calls this a resounding success. I'm guessing you agree?
I think we would. You know, this has been a very successful program. It's met the goals of enhancing energy security, reducing greenhouse gas emissions from new automobiles, and stimulating the economy.
Were you surprised that that it was scrapped? Did you think it would have been extended?
No, I think we knew all along that there would be a $3 billion amount of cash to go through. And once that was gone, I think we figured the program would be completed. I think everyone's a little surprised, though, at how quickly the money went.
I mean, the dealers wanted this to be over, but I guess that was mostly because of this cash delay.
Yeah, their biggest concern was that they would make deals and not be reimbursed for them, and that's something that I think we're all sensitive to. But we also are very pleased with how the program went overall.
And when you say that, you're talking about the sparking of car sales. I mean,
absolutely. It looks like August auto sales will top 1 million units for the first time in almost 2 years. Sales vehicles are moving off the lots at near record pace, and so that's good news for the industry, and hopefully it'll jumpstart the rest of the auto economy.
Another one of the criteria for success, I would think, would be getting dirty cars off the roads. Do you expect that there will be any sort of calculation coming out that will tell us what was saved on that end?
Absolutely. We know that the average trade from old car to new car showed about a 9.6 mile per gallon increase in fuel economy. That's very significant, and that's something that we'll hope to quantify more as the program becomes finalized and the final calculations are tallied.
Now, when the extension was being negotiated, some amendments got offered by some lawmakers. Tom Harkin wanted to limit the incomes of the participants. There was another idea from Tom Coburn giving scrapped cars to charity. Some of the senators said the efficiency gains were too small. When this comes up again, likely next month, do you think any of these things are going to be amenable to the auto industry?
I think we're open to discussing several of the amendments that were introduced. The problem that happened with the Senate bill as it wound down was that the House had gone out of recess, and had there been any changes to the legislation, the program would have been effectively dead 3 weeks ago. So we're very hopeful that there will continue to be stimulative programs for the auto industry. I think this is something that consumers clearly took advantage of. It's one of the most successful economic stimulus programs ever offered by the government.
When it first started and everyone rushed into the showrooms, the president came out and said, it's a resounding success, which probably means we set the rebate price too high. Do you think so, or do you think it could be?
No, I don't think so. I think the rebate price was probably just about right. I mean, I think there will be much Monday morning quarterbacking about the program, but all in all, I think it's very difficult to argue that the program was successful.
Okay, and so you do see it possibly being resurrected again?
I'm not sure if Cash for Clunkers as we know it will be resurrected again, but I think that members of Congress as well as the administration understand how consumers will react to these types of programs in the future. And I think we're hopeful that upon further inspection, there will be more stimulative programs for the industry that get consumers into showrooms.
Let me ask you something. Do people walk in and say, I have this car, I want to be part of the Cash for Clunkers program, so let's make a deal? I mean, is that how it went?
Yeah, leading up to the program, we saw unprecedented traffic to the NHTSA Cars website. Consumers were very informed. This program had been discussed for more than 6 months before it actually went into effect. So we knew that there were several consumers, or a large number of consumers, that were holding on to their vehicles, waiting to see if the program would become law.
I guess what I'm wondering is, do people negotiate the price of a car before the dealers find out that they have a clunker that they're ready to trade in?
I don't think so. I think that for the most part,
people drove in and
said, here's my clunker. They had to know whether or not the vehicle would qualify, and they had to be prepared at the dealership to show not only have the title, but show continuous registration for a year and continuous insurance for a year. We believe that most of the people that went in to purchase these cars knew they had a clunker when they took them in.
And the dealers knew that when they came in. I mean, doesn't that weaken, sort of the buyer's biggest weapon recently when they can walk in and say, I know what your invoice price is and I'll pay you this.
Not really, because just by looking at a vehicle, you wouldn't know if it qualified for the program or not. Information about that vehicle had to be put into a website that showed whether or not the vehicle met the mileage
But that
threshold.
rebate price comes off of the sticker price of the car, not
Correct.
off of the final negotiated price between the buyer and the dealer.
Correct.
Okay. All right, well, we'll follow it to see if this gets resurrected again. Charles Torito for the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And we appreciate it.